why do rappers not do more meth? They do codeine. You know, there's a lot of heroin going on in rap nowadays. But why don't rappers do meth? It keeps you up. Imagine if you do meth. If Tupac was on meth, he could probably record like 30 songs in a day.
Didn't he?
God
already?
bless his soul. He used to record like 8 songs in a day.
He could have done 30.
He could have done 30.
Could have done 4 to 5 times the amount of
because of
work.
meth.
First off, I would say, who says more rappers don't do meth?
I don't know any rappers that do meth. There's not like rappers. There's not a hit song that like meth. Well, maybe Molly.
There's not a hit song. That doesn't mean that they don't dabble. Would you say maybe DMX dabbles in meth?
No.
No?
I think he's strictly cocaine. Crack.
Just a crack cocaine guy.
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
His
He's probably
face
old school.
doesn't deteriorate as a meth
True
addict.
story.
He's got the skeletal. Yeah, he's got the skeletal crack face sometimes, and then he gains weight.
Yeah,
he loses weight.
Yeah.
That's these
Not
are
the
residues
deterioration.
of crack.
Yeah.
Have you seen Trick Daddy lately?
Yeah.
Trick Daddy looks like a California raisin,
Wait,
and that's because he has lupus, but he also smokes crack and Mexican weed.
Okay.
That combination will make you kind of like
I actually
puff
thought,
up.
I actually thought he had plastic surgery.
No. He has lupus.
Huh.
You think he had plastic surgery to look like a California raisin?
I just thought.
How do you walk in and say, "Doc, I want to look like a California raisin"?
No, I'm just saying, like the way his like face looked, it looked like somebody tried to do something to make him look better than something. I don't know.
He's got lupus. Lupus.
And honestly, I never paid much attention to it, but like a lot of the still frames and like, oh, Trick Daddy's on this
Love and
show
Hip
or
Hop.
whatever. Yeah, it was like maybe it's the makeup, bro. It might have been the makeup.
He's wearing makeup.
In the show, right? Wouldn't
That's
he?
another thing that is supposedly against the laws of rappers.
Well, but I'm saying like on
You can't wear makeup.
But it's a show. You got to put on makeup, right? They got makeup. So you sit on commercial sets and film sets and whatever is always.
I remember Dame
Some
Dash
sort of,
saying that somewhere in like while he was writing the Bible of like hip hop rules. Right after pause, there was like no makeup allowed in hip hop. So pause, no homo, no makeup allowed. That was all in the same like 11th or 12th commandment.
I can wholeheartedly, as just a casual fan of music in general, so I have no skin in the game necessarily at all.
Foreskin in the game.
No skin in the game of like, so I don't matter as far as hip hop comes. I'm
What
just a
about
casual.
some foreskin? It's not important. You can just throw that in there.
I don't think I have that either, right? Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So you can have a
I
little
have
bit
no.
of skin.
I
in
didn't know.
This doesn't matter.
But all the way, fuck all of that shit. You know what I mean? Fuck pause culture. You know what I mean? Fuck
Pause culture.
pause culture.
What does that mean?
When you say pause, when someone says, "Yo, he was behind me in line," pause.
Yeah,
Fuck that shit.
that's good. Well, if you're from Harlem, that's part of their like vernacular.
It's part of the vernacular, but it stems from a culture of
No gay people.
homophobia.
I think a lot of people that say pause are kind of gay. Because if you care that much, you clearly, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I wouldn't.
I
go
don't
that-
have to
I wouldn't
say pause.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I
But-
think sometimes, like you said, it's part of vernacular, so
Yeah.
they're just saying it, and it's just part of. It's like saying, "Man, you gay." When I was in fifth grade or sixth grade, that was part of the like. It's just it meant weird. It meant, and again, it was wrong because I was in
What
fifth
if it's
grade.
a healthy exercise to manhood?
What do you mean? How?
Well, because when you like, you ritualize the pause thing, you're waiting for certain characteristics of words to develop. So it's like, it's a healthy mental exercise. Like, oh, gay in the window, pause. I'm good at catching it.
No, I don't know. I don't know about that. But that and what was the other no makeup? Come on, man. What are you talking about? It's like
Not supposed to wear
hip hop
makeup.
is inclusive, right? Again, a casual fan. Like I don't have any skin and foreskin, none of that in the game. You know what I mean? But like it's all inclusive, right? Everybody should be allowed, even somebody who puts on makeup or whatever. It's not my thing. It's not your thing. It's not their thing. It's not his thing. It's his thing and her thing and
So
their thing.
everybody should be allowed.
Yeah,
Everybody.
sure. Even a fucking like Ku Klux Klan motherfucking racist ass, which
In
I've
hip-hop?
seen, which I've heard, which is
That's a new
ironic.
one?
It's ironic as
Really?
fuck. Why would he even want to be included
day,
in that
gentlemen.
fucking situation?
I would
But
like to start out by saying this episode will
Fuck
not
'em.
be a joke.
you
Walter
allowed to
White
do
is
it. I
not
might
a
not listen to it. I might not listen to it. I might listen to it once and see what the fuck is happening. You know what I mean? I might use you one play, just like what this motherfucker is racist. You know, or this motherfucker made a
Lil Nas
video.
X.
He's making a video. Yeah, all of that. This shit's beautiful, and of course, thousands and millions and trillions of people disagree with that. But I like to be given, again, casual fan, the option of like, whoa, there's like a gay blah 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 over
A
here,
gay Nazi?
or whatever,
gangster rapper?
you know, gay zombie Nazi in the middle of the earth rapping about whatever.
Zombie Nazi gangster
Just
rapper.
something so obscure that I can just hit play and be like, nah, that's not for me. Casual fan, want the option. I don't want to like exclude any of that shit. So when you say no makeup, pause, all of that shit, nah, fuck all the way, fuck all of that
Thompson,
shit.
should we accept digital algorithms in hip hop?
Good day, gentlemen.
I don't think we have a
I
choice,
would like
do
to
we?
start out by saying this episode will not be a joke. Walter White is not a real person. You will not be allowed to make a mockery out of these fine Floridians. You guys will not be making fun of the Florida meth head. These great men and women mean a great deal to our society. We can learn a lot from The Walking Dead. Is it their fault? You think playing Meth Mania every day is the fucking Olympics? No fat guy, no tall guy. We have to stop. My guys. Let's get into my statistical bag real quick. Around 8% of Floridians used illicit drugs, which is near the national average. That means around
was the
1.5
percent?
million Floridians used illegal drugs that year.
Statistical bag.
Since Florida
No,
has such a
what was
large
the
population,
percentage?
the
1.5.
scale of its drug problem is
Not
also
bad.
large. Unfortunately, many of those users are highly addicted. Like meth, you silly little bitches. Around 410,000 Floridians were dependent on or had abused illicit drugs within a year of being surveyed.
Damn.
Heavy usage has serious consequences. Florida's rate of drug-induced death was higher than the national average. Drug use caused the deaths of 3,181 Floridians. That's more people than died due to either car accidents or guns. Before heroin and opioids were public drug enemy number one, methamphetamine was perhaps the most reviled drug in the United States. The meth crisis has not ended or abated. In fact, meth lab seizures in Florida have gone up over the past decade. The meth trade has undergone major changes in recent years. The popular image of meth production involves large-scale meth labs in exurbs and farmland. That perception is increasingly outdated. More and more, meth users are making their own drugs, or buying them from international criminal groups. Most of the meth consumed in the United States is now imported, primarily from Mexico. The U.S. government has restricted the availability of meth's precursor chemicals, making large-scale domestic production of the drug difficult. However, imported meth is more expensive than meth made at home. Importation adds to the cost of drugs. To avoid the markup, many meth users have begun to produce small amounts of drugs for themselves and their fellow users. The most common of these methods is the one-pot or shake-and-bake method. Shake and bake involves shaking small amounts of precursor chemicals in a bottle, usually while driving a car. Shake and bake producers drive around in order to disperse the fumes that are a byproduct of the process.
Community.
Making meth in the car also makes labs harder for
Are there
law
apps
enforcement
for
to
meth?
detect. Unfortunately,
You know what I mean?
when mobile meth producers discard the bottle they
Mobile
cook in,
meth.
Like,
processes dangerous
if
chemical
there's not an
residues.
app for meth, there
Those
should
chemical
be.
traces
If there
can
needs to
pollute the
be,
area they litter or cause
Yeah,
serious
the
health
mobile
problems.
meth
that
there's
can
an
trade.
heat them up or
industry
worse.
that could
Meth
benefit
labs are
from
notorious for
efficiency,
causing destruction.
it's fucking meth.
The drug's chemical precursors
I
are
might have to
extremely
look into that
volatile.
shit.
If mixed improperly or overheated, they can
Psych,
catch
just
fire
kidding.
or explode. Labs, even small ones,
Yo, you gotta give it up to fucking meth heads, bro. They are MacGyver-esque. They've gotten so deep with their addiction that they drive around and
I know.
shake
The
right in
mobile-
the car. The mobile meth epidemic, bro. Man, fucking opioid crisis. I'm cooking meth in my Ford Taurus on the way to work, bro.
Just always working. You know what I mean? Constantly moving.
The ingeniousness of that. Like, I am not going down without a fight. I need my meth today. Get me my pseudoephedrine.
It's sad and impressive at the same time. You know what I mean? It's sad. You don't do it. Please don't do it. But holy crap, you're doing it. And it's kind of amazing. Like, you got all this shit going right now. And then it explodes and kills, 6 people or whatever. But
all right. So this whole episode is going to be directed at Meth Mania in Florida. I don't
Meth Mania?
Mania.
So that's what we're calling it?
I think so.
Okay.
Because you have to really be going hard to do meth.
Like in life?
Meth is its own separate thing, bro. Like what meth heads do.
Do you know what it is exactly?
It's a methamphetamine.
Okay, let's pretend I don't know what those words mean.
It's basically a man-made drug, a whole bunch of chemicals put together to make you go hard. It was invented by the Nazis.
Really?
During World War II.
So they were like trying to make super soldiers or something?
Yeah, and not only that, they're trying to save money on food. So
I'm fucking German. I don't know about that.
They're going to give you a little bit of food and a lot of amphetamines. So if you get hungry after the 8th day of fighting, here's a saltine cracker and then take another hit of meth so you can go for another 8 days. And it worked. People on submarines. I mean, it worked to an extent. I think at the beginning of the war, right, the Nazis were killing shit because they were all high. And then towards the end, they were like running off and running out of drugs. So I think that was a big reason why the United States kind of, won, because we were just fueled on like tobacco and
alcohol and shit.
Tobacco and alcohol.
Cigarettes.
We got to sleep for at least 4 hours, buddy. These guys was not sleeping.
Right.
They were just going hard.
So what? Why?
So what happened is they started having babies, and then over the evolution of babies, they made
I'm a meth baby.
Crystal Meth. That's her name.
That
is her name.
At least 4 hours to all the way believe. Like, I didn't believe that when I first saw it, and I had to do research on it, and then I realized it shit's true. Her name is Crystal.
A Florida woman named Crystal Methvin was just arrested for possession of crystal meth. The St. Augustine Police Department says that officers got a tip sitting in a car on the side of the highway. When they arrived, Methvin didn't have her driver's license. A search turned up crystal meth in a plastic bag, as well as more unused bags in her purse. Officers told CBS in Jacksonville that they believe she was selling the drugs. She now faces a third-degree felony charge.
Should she get like a business card?
And is being held on $5,000 bond.
It's
Matt Uris for CBS.
A business card.
Yeah, like you with a
Porcade,
name like that, bro. With a name like that, why not just get a business card?
Because you'd be arrested faster, I guess.
Why would you be arrested?
What's the business?
You're delivering meth.
But that's illegal.
Just to say that to have a name like that, you think her parents set her up for
yeah,
failure?
That's rough. That's rough. I mean, I would. That woman was what? I mean, it's hard to tell with meth, but we'll say she's in her 30s, right? Let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
Why does meth do that to people's faces?
Oh, man, I don't know.
You ever
I'm not
seen
a scientist.
those timeline
Yeah,
faces?
man. Those are nuts, dude. I don't know why. I know why. Because you are literally what you put into your body. So when I eat this pretzel, it's going to crunch up, going down my throat, into my stomach, and whatever I can use out of this pretzel, whatever my body decides I can use out of this pretzel, is going to break up in little pieces, and it's going to become this. It's just what it is.
But why do you name your daughter Crystal You think that's really that's just such a setup for failure, bro.
Yeah, I think there's a
she should get out of jail free card because of that.
Maybe once. Maybe once. Honestly, yeah. Be like, damn, dog, come on. Go put her in the. But that's what should happen anyway, right? Don't put her in jail. That's your position. That's our kind of sign of.
I think if you're not killing anybody, you shouldn't be put in jail for drugs. I think it's an addiction thing. We should work that out. I think if we regulate it like we've talked about,
yeah,
regulate it. No smoking in public.
it's meth, bro.
No smoking in public. But if you want to smoke meth in the privacy of your home,
Meth.
clean your shit.
No, man.
Watch old Nazi films.
Fuck all of that shit. Meth makes you do crazy ass shit.
Like, would you, if you were a meth head, and let's say you were a little bit, let's say you met this dealer for the first time and he brings you some shit, and you're like, this is probably not meth. Would you go to the cops to get it tested?
I'm not an idiot. No, I would not.
What? Why is that? I mean, he wants to make sure he's not like getting anything illegal.
I guess to your point, if it was regulated, you could,
Yeah.
right? If it was legal to have meth, then you could go to the cops and be like, "Yo, look at this bullshit this guy said."
This guy's thinking in the future. Then that's what you're saying.
He's from the future, or meth is the gateway to time travel.
Wow.
It's time travel.
This guy's a time traveler.
He's a time traveler.
So is my internet.
Deputies say Douglas Kelly was arrested after complaining to them
Mr.
that
Kelly.
he might have been
Shout out to
sold
this
the
lady's
wrong
arms.
drug. He said he had a bad reaction after smoking meth and asked if the deputies could test the narcotics quality, even driving the substance to the sheriff's office. Needless to say, Kelly
Yo,
has a new
did you
set
see?
of silver
She looked
bracelets,
off.
and he's
She
not
looked at her
facing
producer
charges.
like, "Yo, is this real life?"
This up. Now local law enforcement
I can't make
agencies are
this up.
seeing it as a really easy way to catch the bad guys. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office sharing our story on Twitter today.
But the guy wants to be safe. I mean, he's trying. He's trying,
Go
though.
back to his face. Go back to his face, my guy. Oh no.
He's like, "Why am I going to jail, though? I just want to make sure my meth is safe."
It's such a fucking sad.
But we shouldn't arrest people like this. We shouldn't arrest people like this. This guy probably works as a plumber or like an electrician or something. He's probably a very crafty tradesman.
Oh man. That guy, I bet he's a hell of a nice guy. I would have to assume that dude's a super nice
He
guy.
went down to the police. Like, he drove it down. Imagine calling 911. Can you,
He had that look on his face the whole time, by the way. When they were arresting him, when they were putting that giving him fucking fingerprint.
Do they tell him, "Hold on, sir, let me have a detective meet you in the lobby"? And then does the cop come in and say, "Hold on, guys, this is a new one for the week"?
He's like, this brings everybody around. Says, go, say it again. Just say it one more time, because this is the procedure.
You know when you show up to the cop office, there's like nobody at the front, and then you gotta wait. Oh man, he shows up with the whole team. The whole floor shows up over the radio. Can we get everybody to the front of the police station?
They come running down in the elevator. Yo, I feel bad for him, and then I don't at all. Obviously, like right away. So I just laugh about it because the look on his face is what made me laugh so hard. Holy shit!
Why is it with this drug, meth especially, there's so much comedic value? Like, it's sad that you're high on meth and your life is falling apart. But there is a form of comedy with meth. There's something compared to every other drug, right, that you can just associate. Like, you try, like Kimberly's right, we shouldn't be making a mockery of these Floridians. But there's so much comedy associated to these stories. And it's like, bro, like, you know that meth comes with this stigma.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
under the side effects of meth is possibly be made fun of.
Yeah, right there at the bottom. It's like in small print. It's in gray. It kind of fades in with the paper, the white of the paper, so you can't really see it. Little asterisks next to it, but yeah, for sure, man. You're asking for it if you're in the middle of the street with your clothes off, popping and locking, doing breakdance moves. You know,
Or you go down to the police station.
He
and ask
needs
your
some
shit to
milk.
get tested.
Come on, bro. Look at his face. He's like,
But everybody gets drawn into the web of comedic meth. Even the cops, right? The cops are so used to pulling people over, right? Like the first lady, right? She had a whole bunch of Crystal had a whole bunch of meth all over her car and little
Meth
baggies, right? What does meth look like to you?
me? I don't know. I guess like is it like a I don't know. Is it like a rock or is it like shavings? Coconut. Like
what
coconut.
about it? What about donut glaze?
Donut glaze.
Donut glaze. This poor gentleman is not a meth head, okay? But the cops.
Oh, you could do it like edibles and shit, obviously, right? Like anything else.
It's a crystally white substance, right? So I'm gonna play this video.
Is what I said right? Is that how meth comes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Because I only meth I know is Walter White. Walter White. I am Heisenberg.
Mr. Rushing, tell me what you were doing the day you were arrested and what the early part of your day
His
was.
name is Rushing. That is kind of a
I have
meth
a
last
friend
name.
who's got
Yo,
stage
man,
4
can you go back
cancer
for
of the
half a
spine.
second? Just real quick. And this is just the fucking graphic designer in me. Just go back to the fucking so you can see the
Tell
text.
me what
Stop.
you were
White fucking text
With a shadow.
on a white fucking background.
Come on, Orlando Sentinel.
What kind of dumb shit is that?
This is high school production, though. They're a newspaper.
Huh?
This is high school production value. They're a newspaper.
Are they above the age of 9? When you go to art class and they learn about contrast? I'm just saying, man. Anyway,
Orlando Sentinel.
play.
All right, back to Mr. Rushing's story.
Sorry, man. No
Mr.
disrespect,
Rushing.
but white. Anyway, here we go. That's
His-
my fault. That's
his-
some snooty ass shit. That makes me
No,
feel
it
like
makes perfect sense. I mean, I'm glad you pulled stuff like that out. I mean, you have to take time with your graphics.
Because look at this.
Art
look
department.
Look how I can read that. You know
Art
what I mean?
department.
Anyway,
doing the day you were arrested and what the early part of your day was. Lead me in.
Well, I have a friend who's got
Wow.
stage 4 cancer of the spine. So every Friday, I take him to his chemotherapy. And then that's on Gore, not too far from the gym, which I've been working out at for 30 years, over 30 years. So while he takes about an hour and a half, I go to the gym, work out, then he calls me to come pick him up. Well, that's every Friday at 1 that happens. Well, this particular day, the doctor was leaving early, so he said, come in at 12. Well, I have a friend that works really close to the gym and that has to walk home 2 miles when they get off at 12. So after I dropped him off, I picked them up, was headed to their house when the police stopped us.
What happened when the police stopped you?
I said, hi, did I do something wrong? And they went, well,
Do we have to take notes during the interview?
you know, when you were coming out of the 7-Eleven there, you didn't really come to a full stop. And I went, to myself, Friday afternoon, lunchtime, Highway 50, just going to pull out without, no. So I said, okay. And they said, well, I said, you're going to give me a ticket? And they said, well, would you mind if we search your car? And I said, well, if you don't give me a ticket, sure, you can search the car. Because, I didn't have anything to hide. So I figured I'd get out of a ticket. They take 5 minutes, search the car, and I'd be done. So about 15 minutes later, they're still doing it. And I looked at my friend. I said, do you know what's going on? No. So they came back and they went, you got anything in your car you want to tell us about? I said, no. There's nothing in there that's interesting at all. No. What do you mean? And they said, well, we found something in your car that's illegal. I said, not possible. And they said, yeah, we tested it. I said, well, I don't care what you did because there's nothing in the car that's illegal. I've never done drugs in my life. I've never even smoked pot once. What are you talking about? So they got 4 little pieces, which every other Wednesday I get a glazed donut from Krispy Kreme. They found 4 little pieces of icing on the floorboard, which I'm kind of embarrassed about because I should have, vacuumed the car better. But first they tried to say it was crack cocaine, and then they said, no, it's not crack, it's methamphetamines. I went, it's icing from a donut. And they said, no, it's methamphetamines. And I said, you are so wrong. And they said, well, we're willing to work with you if you're willing to work with us, because we've had a lot of drug sales over there in that little area. And I said, well, I don't know anything about anything. And they said, okay, well, then you need to go ahead and put your hands behind your back and we're going to read you your rights. I said, okay. They searched my friend. They were embarrassed. My friend that was having the chemo, he was stuck he had to wait a few hours there for somebody to finally come pick him up. And I got taken down to 33rd Street, strip searched.
Oh.
Now, because of my back, my
Best
spine
part
injury,
of my day.
I have to take some pretty heavy-duty meds. So when I came in, they said, are you taking anything that you could go into withdrawals from if you don't have it? I said, absolutely. I told them about my situation and what I took, and they said, okay. This was about maybe 1:30, and I had my meds at 9. I was supposed to have them again at 3.
What's the situation?
So about 5,
Probably taking
I'm still
opioids.
sitting over there in the corner. I went over and I told the medical guy, said, sir, like I told you, I'm going through withdrawals now. I'm having some real severe pain in my back. And he said, well, you need to go over there and sit down because you're not supposed to be over here. And if you don't leave us alone, we're going to put you in the back where you don't want to be. So, okay. So I sat until about 10, and then they took us upstairs. Now I have an implant in my back, and I'm not supposed to go through a metal detector. So we got up there. I said, sir, I have a patient card in my wallet. I'm not supposed to go through a metal detector because I have an implant in my back and it can mess it up. And he went, well, you're going to have to go through. So I did. Then I waited about an hour and a half, and they finally called me and they said, you've been on bond.
Holy shit.
So the fucking
There's a lot of stuff happening in that guy's life. So he's used to do meth.
no.
What's he? No?
No, he. Where did you get that from the story?
I thought he was going with the withdrawals from stuff. From
No, man, he had he has
opioids.
He has a back condition.
Oh,
He
because
was
it's a back condition. It
prescribed-
wasn't because he was doing meth.
No, he was prescribed opioids for his back condition.
I was like, damn, that sucks, man. Okay.
So that later on, right? They went they because these field tests have been failing miserably lately. So after they go back, they have to, he goes through bond. He has to get an attorney. They retest the substance that they found. They find out that it's glaze from a glazed donut, from a Krispy Kreme donut. Okay, so there was no meth, but the cops dropped the ball so hard on this guy. Had him go through the system. He's got to pay like maybe $5,000 to $10,000 on an attorney.
Does he get to? Does he sue? Does he get to recoup?
This happened like a year and a half ago, so I think they're currently in some type of litigation.
Seriously, bro.
But imagine that. Like you pick up your buddy to take him to chemo, and because meth is prevalent, can you blame the cops? They have to run into people like Crystal Meth, and they're so used to the same song and dance. With
Yeah,
people.
but like, can't you just like smush crystal cream residue in between and it becomes like.
Well, when you're making it in the car, shaking and base it, you don't know how hard it's going to become. It is going to become a crystally substance, but sometimes it's jelly, sometimes it's hard. It just depends on how good your Walter White.
Yeah, but
Walter White whipping it?
Does it fucking smell delicious?
I don't know if does sugar have a smell.
Yeah, man. Like crystal. You ever smell the donut?
Yeah, the donut is the dough that you're smelling though, not the sugar.
I don't. Oh, maybe. I'm gonna go with maybe. I don't know about that. Like that's just delicious.
It is delicious, but cops, because they're running into so many of these situations with this 1.5 million people on meth.
How do you
in
put them
Florida.
all the way through the system though? Because the
cops'
test,
job
because the test said it was
the
positive.
the field test said positive, so that's enough probable
And they
cause
held
to
him over.
arrest.
How long did it take? How long was he in there?
One night.
And then in the morning they were like, "My bad."
Bond. No, they gave him bond. He went and got an attorney. They did the test. They realized that it was. They dropped the charges. You can't blame the cops, like I said.
You can't blame the cops.
The cops are doing their job. This happened so many times.
I don't know. I'm
There's
still
a
saying
lot.
like this is. You know what I mean? Like
You don't know. You got to test it. What if you're like, and then you test it and it goes purple because it's supposed to go purple whenever.
purple means it's meth.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just got it. I don't know. Better test. I don't know. I guess
Well,
that's
yeah.
what we're talking about. I don't
A
know.
lot of the tests have been failing because they're saying that they leave the test in the hot car. The car sits there. You know, the substance that the chemical reaction from the substance in the pouch is not being able to fully be 100% because of the environment it's in. So the thing is that it is an epidemic in Florida. So it's so hard, you know, things like this is going to happen.
I was just thinking, could some sort of work release where there's like a meth like dealer or like user or something like that rides along as part of their like rehabilitation.
Like a drug dog? You
Like
got a drug person?
A little bit.
Maybe.
And he like tells you, and he's with you, and he like
Yeah.
tells you like, nah, this motherfucker, he's got it in his ass, or he's got it in it. You know what I mean? As part of that, as part of his like rehabilitation, he does like a work release or something, and he helps. He educates in the field.
I think we need to, unless there's something violent involved with it, we just got to treat it differently. We can't be throwing people in jail.
That's pretty different. He's not in jail. He can be like out and about, but he needs to help out with drug shit.
No, I agree with the person, but it's just the encounter.
Oh yeah.
With the people needs to change too, so that the
my man shouldn't get strip shirts. God damn, bro, what a fucking demeaning ass like.
And then everybody
take all your clothes off, and you're like, I really gotta take all my clothes off right now. Spread your ass. Bend over and spread your ass. It's like cough. It's like what the fuck?
He's like, I've never done drugs in my life.
It's like I never even smoked weed. She had smoked weed. I don't know. He probably would have been home smoking weed, not helping his friend, helping his friends.
Withdraw. Man, that's crazy. He's high on. Well, he's not
so we
high.
blame that, or do we blame him not being clean?
No, it's just a messed up situation.
Bro, if you vacuum up your shit, man, you know my car looks like shit. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I don't ever vacuum my car. There's probably doing a glaze right now.
Yo, man, what a shitty story, dude.
So you sent me this story that I thought was interesting. Like, yeah, we're gonna make fun of meth heads and all that, but we have to realize that there is like an epidemic going on, and it seems to be affecting certain people more than others. And it's, to me, I think the like just like the crack epidemic really messed up like black and Hispanic neighborhoods and some poor white neighborhoods. I don't think meth is that prevalent in urban. I think it's mostly like rural. Say it, damn it, rural.
No.
Rural.
Nope.
Rural?
Nope. You
Right
keep
here.
saying like
RURAL.
You're saying breaking rules. That's what you're saying.
So say it.
Rural.
Rural.
It's a two thing. It's a two thing.
Rural.
No. Rural.
Rural. I can't say it. I don't know. That's a hard one.
Rural.
Rural.
Roll that tongue. Rural. I'm starting to fuck it up.
Rural.
Okay. Even that sounds better than what you were doing before.
That's one thing that I always fuck up.
Rural
and route. Now I can say route now.
Yeah, route's perfect.
All right.
Rural. Rural Florida. Rural
Florida.
Okay.
Seems to be a big epidemic of people that get strung out on heroin. I mean, meth.
Hold on. What's the difference between meth and opioids?
Opioids
I know
come
they're
from
pills. Opium.
So it's heroin derivatives, Oxycontin. It's a downer mostly.
And then meth is like a combination of shit. It's like
molecules basically that they put together.
They like come like what was it? No dose.
A lot of times it's no dose. From a specific plant like opium comes
molecules.
From opium.
That's why Walter White was a chemistry teacher.
Poppy.
He knew how to do it.
Right.
What? How do you?
It's one of the first synthetic drugs. Like it hasn't been here always. This is only like a turn of the century drug.
Right.
Opium has been here forever, from the poppy plant,
mm-hmm.
and they have super derivatives of it. Like I explained, heroin, fentanyl, morphine, Oxycontin, Percocet, Vicodin. These are all derivatives of the opium plant. They're all downers too, and they all help you with like pain.
Okay,
and stuff.
right, upper downer.
And then the methamphetamine,
I knew that,
is a synthetic drug made by man to give you fucking high, like super drive.
Winning. I went here and I went there.
Yeah,
Now
even
what?
crack is a chemical synthetic of the coca plant. You know what I mean?
So
They're stimulants, not depressants. They're stimulants.
right. So meth is the 21st century upper.
Yeah, and it seems like Nazis really like it, and poor white people. Hell's Angels.
Nazis did it to keep their troops up,
Charge.
going, but eventually the
food.
body fucking failed. If they had won the war faster, they'd be ruling the world.
Or if
right
they
now.
had more meth, maybe they were. If they had more meth, they would have won.
Well, how do you run out if you can create it from nothing?
Because your supply chains get cut off. They say that.
So what? That's what I'm saying. Like, how does that? What is the molecules? How do you? I'm sure it was in the early episodes of Breaking Bad, but I don't remember like the process. Do you know the process?
Yeah, you take certain chemicals.
What does that mean? That's what I mean. Like, what chemicals?
I don't know the specific chemicals, but like you can take like pseudoprofen, right?
Hydrogen.
Right. Well,
I'm
they're
so
all
stupid.
friends, right?
So fucking stupid.
Pseudoprofen and all this stuff.
Pseudoprofen.
It's
What's
a chemical.
That? That's
They're all
like
chemicals.
cough medicine. It sounds
Right.
Like. Okay.
So they take these chemicals and then they refine the chemicals. So they break them down to basically just
Like boil them or something.
methamphetamine, amphetamine.
Like boil them or something. How do they?
Yeah, they boil them. They also use like certain vacuum tubes and stuff to vacuum certain shit out so it doesn't have no oxygen in it, and then they take the hydrogen out and they start
Damn, bro.
adding a whole bunch
Just
of
go
shit.
get a job.
Super chemical
You
shit.
just go get a job doing
Why?
that shit.
It's a lot funner to be in a trailer or driving down your Ford Taurus, getting high as fuck.
You
have
said
to-
shaking early. They got to shake it.
That's
The
just called-
agitation.
right? And then and then
Just
the
driving
crystals
around
come out.
high on meth. You know, I heard a crazy story from this comedian. You ever watch that? This Isn't Happening.
No. Yes, maybe.
It's like a stand up in a strip club thing, and somebody supposedly is telling a anecdotal true story, comedic story, and it's something that's like so fucked up or whatever. And this girl's story is about being a drug addict or whatever, and how her life changed when she found out as a meth addict, her high from drinking her own urine was better than when she took the meth in the first place. So she stocked up and sold her own urine. I think, and sold, but definitely stocked up on her own. She had like a whole, like, there's a comedian. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
But she came up with this while high on meth.
Yes.
Of course.
And now she's like, obviously, there was like, but she told that story and it was powerful and had layers to it. And I appreciate it. And it applies right now because that fucking meth, bro, that will have you doing some shit. You stocked up on urine to like sell it to people. Holy fucking shit.
It does something to your psychology because of the chemicals in it, and it starts to break down. So that's why
You are what you eat.
yeah,
You are what you
and
ingest.
you're basically not eating anything while you're on it. So
Right. So you're taking away all like the extra stuff that you need in your life. And then you end up,
your face
your
starts
face
to get.
starts to like,
But why do you think it
deteriorate.
affects poor people so much? Poor white people specifically.
Poor white people. Poor white people. Poor people. Poor education.
Maybe that's a good. Yeah, that's a good determining factor.
You gotta like be smarter than that, bro. Don't put that shit in you. Like, and once you start like, and just like hopelessness, like what's better? I'd rather live in this fog for a while and then burn out and go to nothing. People don't value life sometimes, man. Like, just general value this person breathing across from me. You know, people look at other people like just like fucking trash and bullshit, like, and like useless and throw and like I've had an argument with friends about how like no one person is more valuable than another person, and they're like, well, no, I'm more valuable than say a homeless person. And I'm like, well, no, you're not. You know, I know it seems that way, and in a lot of ways you are, in ways you are, or whatever. But
Yeah, to your circumstances.
to whoever's, you know what I mean? Whatever perspective you're looking from, maybe you are, right?
That's a P right there.
But like, you're not. Ultimately, nobody is. Even the fucking like trashiest R. Kelly rapist, scumbag, trash piece of shit still has like value and rights, and you shouldn't just like throw people away like that. You know what I mean? So, somebody that fucking has a problem, a real problem.
So we should fire all the Mexicans and put like meth heads to work in the fields. Bring America's jobs back again.
I don't know if I can co-sign that one. I don't know if I want to fire anybody.
Oh, you have to give them something to do.
Again, you can send them out in the field, police officers, or you can.
That's a lot of meth heads. They would overtake the police.
No, get like one per cop.
All right, but what are the rest gonna do?
I think that's enough. I think if you get one meth person per cop, that there's not more people on meth than there are cops in the United States.
Hypothetically, let's say we have all this
totally unrealistic
farming. Let's say we have all this farming we need to get done. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of cleaning. There's like have you ever been to Philadelphia? It's fucking dirty, right?
Yeah, I don't want to
we arrest all these meth heads and we give them free meth, like clean up the streets. Here's your meth. Here's your dose of meth every day. Do something positive. Don't smoke it. Smoke it at home. Clean the streets. The more trash you bring back, the more meth we'll give you. I think it's a win-win.
Except the part where people are still doing meth. Meth's bad for you.
They're going to do meth anyway.
Not necessarily. Not if you put them on programs and give them, therapy and rehabilitation and whatever. To get you off that shit, because that shit's bad for you.
It is bad for you, but if we had alternative programs...
Yeah, not put them in jail where they're just sitting there rotting away. I agree with that. But like...
Clean the streets up.
Don't feed them meth. Don't give them meth to clean the streets up.
Check this guy out.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Wesley. The reason I'm here today is to give my story of how drugs has destroyed my life for the last 20 years. I'm doing this in hopes that someone seeing this will not take the same road I've been on for the last 20 years. I'm going to start when I first started using marijuana. I was 16 years old in high school. I was a baseball pitcher and really good at it. I broke 2 really old records when I come through school. I was even offered 2 scholarships and a chance to be flown to a college in Kentucky to practice with their team. At the time, none of this did I have any interest in. What interested me the most was hanging with my friends, smoking my pot, and chasing the girls. That's what started the beginning of a really devastating life. I went from smoking marijuana and hanging with the older crowd to using cocaine. It seemed to be cool at the time because all my friends were doing it and hanging out all hours of the night. It seems that here in Franklin County, different drugs have come throughout the years. Some have come and gone and some have stayed. Do not ever believe that drugs are okay or normal. If you decide to do drugs, you can only expect 1 or 2 things, and that's death or incarceration. It will happen sooner or later. It's inevitable. With that being said, the next event in my life is 3 years in prison. Nobody that hasn't ever been could not begin to imagine how horrible it is. I've seen a lot of things I wish I could erase from my memory, but can't. I've seen it all from violence, rape, suicide, and murder. When I first started seeing these things, it was awful and very terrifying because I had never been around anything like it before. After a year or so, it still bothered me to witness these things, but it was not near as bad as it was. Almost 3 years into it, it was just another day in prison, hardly bothering me at all. Kind of like my drug use. The more I'm around it, the more normal it becomes. At this point, it hasn't registered to me what I had just said. So I get out of prison and I'm doing great. Been gone for 3 years. I've lost contact with all my drug-using buddies. And I moved to Mexico Beach where I continue to do good for about another year. Then I get a job at Toucans on the beach. It wasn't long after being there, I was soon surrounded by all my friends using drugs again. Needless to say, I fall in the same rut again, hanging with my friends that's doing them. Once again, I'm falling victim to the drug game. 2 years now of using, I go back to prison for another 3-year sentence. This experience of prison was even worse than the last. With that being said, you would think that anyone would have changed by now. I get out this time after serving my 3-year sentence. Once again, I'm doing great. Just out of prison, I'm working and saving money, doing good for a year and a half, and now I'm back in touch with my old friends that like taking pain pills, and I start taking them as well. By now, you're probably starting to see a pattern here. Whatever you hang around or accept as normal soon becomes the norm. If you're around it, trust me, you will soon do it. With that being said, please don't ever think any kind of drugs are normal. They are definitely not. Just because you may see your friends or family do it or whatever the case may be, just know that it is wrong and will destroy your life. Don't be that.
See, it's not the drug, Thompson. It's the environment. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's doctors and lawyers doing drugs right now, but they're not getting into trouble and they're just having a
Absolutely.
good time.
There's fully functioning crack.
You know?
People using crack.
It's his poor environment. His friends, they do drugs, but they do crime with the drugs.
Yeah, and it's him too.
It's him too, yeah, but it's the environment that produces the him.
Yeah,
you know, because this is not just one person. This happens.
For sure.
I hear that, although I was a baseball, football player, chess, whatever, and then I got into drugs.
Mm-hmm.
My life fell apart.
Yeah.
No one says they want to grow up and be a junkie.
So the only thing about that is the world's a fucked up place, like in general. So that environment's bad.
Yeah.
Dropping meth into that environment is not a good thing. If that environment was good, if we were all Sweden, or if we were all Norway,
but what if we
or
had an
Amsterdam,
army
or
of
whatever
these
the
dudes
fuck.
cleaning the streets, taking meth
Nope.
but cleaning the streets?
Nope.
Different environment, cleanliness.
Nope.
An army of clean meth heads.
Nope.
Meth cleaning
No,
heads.
because you're still doing the meth.
Cleaning meth heads.
Still doing the meth.
They could have like a cool logo like clean meth.
Pay people
Green
in
meth. Meth the green.
Pay people in food.
They can have food too, but meth, like they're gonna want to work harder.
Pay people in.
Food is like outdated. Everybody gets food now. We're Americans. You can give food to people in Africa, they'll work. Here, they want drugs.
No.
Yes, it's America.
No, I'm just saying no.
Drugs and money. That's what they want. Maybe some oil. Drugs, money, and oil.
Yeah, education maybe.
Nah.
Housing.
Fuck education. Education just puts you in debt.
Housing.
Housing's important.
Yeah.
But if you had meth, you wouldn't care about a house.
Yeah, that's why it's bad. It's part of the reason why it's bad.
Yeah, but you're gonna do it anyway.
Not necessarily. Again, unless if you can like get them to stop in some sort of way, which you can. Sure, there's some people who don't use meth anymore and have stopped killing themselves slowly.
Yeah, but the majority go back to jail like this guy several times. You got to give them an outlet, man.
I realize I'm sipping on something that's killing me slowly. That's why I did that. Just not at the same rate. Nah, man, meth's bad. Meth's super bad. Makes you do bad things. Makes you just like become something that you're not.
Lady rolling around on my parking lot right now, like she's either really high,
She's
or
breakdancing.
drunk, or she's having a seizure. I don't know. I think it's drugs. But she's like in the parking lot. I don't want to go.
That honestly looks a little like me when I'm working out in the morning. I'm not even lying to you. There are a couple of those moves look similar to me when I work out in the morning.
Around. I think she's done too much of whatever.
Kind of like yoga.
Yo, meth heads do natural yoga.
That's yoga in a way. She's also
30,
wig
35. I just don't wanna get hit by a car.
snatching it. You know what I mean? She's wig snatching it, or wig.
Is that
Something like that.
what is that? The dog? What is that right there?
Where?
Or like when they lift the chest up.
That right there is something. That's I got that one. It's in my brain somewhere.
So meth makes you do natural yoga poses. I'm saying meth is good.
And she's all in the grass, chilling. That one right there was just a little scary. You know what I mean? It's a little scary.
That's what makes meth scary. Because they do yoga in random places. That's what, because that's what it is. You're not supposed to do yoga right there, lady. Go home and do
No,
that. We don't want to see that on the corner of the McDonald's.
Man, it's like how aggressive the movements were.
That's her style.
It's like right on the side of the street there.
Thompson, if she was in a yoga studio popping that off, they'd be like, yo, that's some new yoga we have.
No, like it did look sort of like an interpretive dance of some type. You know what I mean? But obviously, she's not doing that because she's wanting to do that.
You're just a big ball of assumption all the time.
True. I agree with that, but that's part of what we're doing here is me just like...
Hold on, that's part of what we're doing here.
is me just sort of like... bah. But like, it didn't look healthy. It didn't look like she was going through... She looked like... It seemed bad. Like the guy. I'm the guy that he's saying, I don't know, it might be drugs. I don't know. Probably. But like, even when he says it might be drugs... Me as a person in my brain is like, you fucking moron, of course it's drugs. Like, what else is it? She's done some shit and the brain isn't working correctly and she thinks she's on the couch watching TV, but she's on the corner of the fucking chicken spot doing acro yoga shit. It's crazy.
I think we're all victims to circumstance.
I think we shouldn't be doing meth.
I think
as I drink my alcohol, that's like terrible for me.
Drugs to me is okay. It's just circumstances, man. You got to be a responsible drug user.
Absolutely. That goes without saying. That's part of responsible anything. Gluten-free.
Yeah, responsible.
But
these guys are mad responsible. Peep the story though. Look how responsible.
They exposed a notorious drug house in
the
Ocala.
Intent
they say it had
was there.
Drive-through window, hours of operation, even signs directing cars where to go. How multiple overdoses led them right to the house.
All they needed was regulations and a license from the state, man. Again, these meth heads are thinking in the future.
Yeah, but we don't know how clean this shit is, right? That's so if we regulated it, that's what you're saying. We would know.
Yeah, man. The first McDonald's wasn't all the...
But meth is bad.
4 overdoses.
Meth is bad. Bad for you.
Bad boys.
Killing.
Look, it's the first. This in 50 years would be like, this is the first meth drive-through before it was legal.
Drive-through for drugs. You can even see the close.
That even has a great ring for a drug drive-through.
She named it.
Look at that. Right there in the window. New right now at 5, Channel 9's Brooke Prize. Live at
Will
Ocala
return
Police Headquarters.
soon.
And Merton, you've learned that drive-through was part of the accused dealer's plan.
Well, police say the suspects didn't want people coming in and out of their homes, so they set up that window, the drive-up, the walk-up window to serve their customers, much like you would find at a fast food restaurant. Right now, William Parrish Jr. and Mackenzie Dobbs are facing charges for allegedly turning this mobile home into a drug house.
They both got arrested. They're in jail right now.
Police say they started investigating after they noticed a startling trend.
We were seeing some overdose incidents that were happening in this particular area, and specifically at this particular location.
Police say their investigation into the 4 overdoses led them to this 3100 Northwest 23rd Place home.
They should add some regulations. You're not allowed to do the drugs here. You know, they open dispensaries. They say, hey, don't do your drugs here. Go do them somewhere else. You can buy them here, but you got to do them somewhere else.
Yeah, just going to walk down the street, though.
Yeah, but regulations. You got to regulate shit. You don't want someone to die of alcohol poisoning in your club. You send them home in a cab.
How is that regulated? They're just going down the street.
No, but you send them home in a cab like
They're
the
just gonna
bars
die
do.
somewhere else.
That's what the bars do. Whenever you're too drunk, they say they don't want this liability in here. Send them home in a cab.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Regulation.
There's an argument that alcohol shouldn't be legal either.
There they learned.
Yeah, back in the day, they used to serve in little outhouses like that.
The only difference is, right now anyway, is how fast I'm killing myself. There's an argument that, be it right or wrong, you shouldn't really get up in arms about, to the point where we're like changing things about certain things if the rate, I forgot how it goes exactly, but the rate at which people die or how fast people die or get sick or whatever isn't above a certain thing. So I forgot what the law is or saying or whatever, It's like a lawyer's name or something. But cigarettes became a thing because it was like a 3,000% jump.
Yeah.
I heard it's on Joe Rogan, I think. Joe Rogan vegan versus vegans, I typed in or something like that. And they had two doctors talking about, saturated fats and animal diet versus plant-based diet. And, essentially the whole conversation boiled down to a lot of just like, I believe in this old stuff and you believe in this new stuff.
It's both okay.
Both okay, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm not even talking about who I agreed with or whatever. It was a good conversation that I thought. But in there, they were talking about how the saturated fat only jumped 18% versus the 3,000% or whatever. So meth, I wonder what
well, see,
how much worse it is for you. A lot, I would guess. But alcohol seems like it's more of a manageable thing.
But why? Because it's
we haven't
regulated. It's gone through a system of scrutiny and regulations, and it's become safe for consumption.
So now, so you're saying we're going to make the type of meth that people can function on, which is Sudafed.
Well, it'll be a little more, it'll have a little more kick.
But yeah, it's Sudafed or whatever. It's just like another.
They prescribe methamphetamines for other.
And
things,
they have
speed and shit. There's
they have no dose, right?
Yeah.
No dose is you take enough no dose, you're gonna be keyed up,
Yellow
right?
Jackets, all this stuff, same shit. Regulation leads to safety.
So, I went out drinking last night. I got a fucking hangover. I drank some this morning, so I'm a little tipsy again. We're having a conversation about illicit substances. And I don't know if it's because of that, but just now was the first time I've moved the needle in the arguments of legalizing all drugs or whatever, because meth would be included, and it's arguably the worst one, right? Meth. What's worse than meth? Bath salts.
Crocodile,
right? It's like the gasoline shit.
I don't even think that type of stuff would exist if drug culture was so underground.
So crazy, dog.
It's because it's underground.
The fuck, it's like gasoline, right?
Yeah, they're doing some weird shit too.
Oh my god. But yeah, you're right. It's like if maybe you might be right.
I'm not sure if I'm right, but I know that we're wrong as far as what the avenue we're doing it now is wrong, and we need to change.
We're treating people like toddlers.
We need to change.
We're treating them like little ass kids.
Yeah,
and we're punishing little kids, which was not what's happening.
And it's driving people underground
now,
and it's creating.
The reason I say you might be right is because the shit's still bad for you, and to what if we make healthy meth somehow?
I don't think it'll be healthy, but it'll at least be.
I don't know, man. We're doing some crazy shit with technology, man.
Well, what I'm saying is it'll at least be safe. You'll know what you need to take before you die. Right now, there's no regulations, so people just go ham. You know what I mean? But if it wasn't such a taboo, and hey, don't take more than 1 milligram of meth or you fucking die. People won't be taking more than 1 milligram.
It's like putting too much salt on the.
Yeah, unless they want to commit suicide, and either way, you're not going to prevent that. You know what I mean?
Right.
People are going to find ways, but
meth's really bad for you.
Yeah, but people are still doing it.
No, even as I'm saying it now, again, because you moved the needle a little bit, if meth wasn't bad for you, some type of way, damn, you know what I mean?
You know what it is too. It's again.
That's a big jump.
Well, people think when you're going to legalize everything, there's going to be like a fucking fruit for all, and everybody's going to be in the streets. But I just got my medical marijuana card in Florida, and I had to go through so much bullshit in fucking Florida to get my card. Where when I lived in Denver, it was a fucking breeze. You know what I mean? And that just goes to show you that with regulation, just leaves more scrutiny, more organization, more bureaucracy that you really don't need, but it's gonna be there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just like alcohol, this shit is such a regulated substance that the people that die on it are idiots because they know there's so much information that says, hey, you shouldn't be driving drunk. Hey, don't drink too much because you can get alcohol poisoning. Like, all the stuff is there. So if you're still doing it and dying, I don't mean to sound so mean, but you kind of deserve to die.
Yeah, but like the same thing with meth. Just because it's not regulated doesn't mean you don't know the risks.
Well, look at the guy that went down to the cop office and said, hey, this stuff doesn't feel like the regular meth I'd be getting. And he felt like there should be some type of regulation. There are, like, I remember when ecstasy was really hot.
That guy was a moron.
But he was going in the right direction.
Sure. He's living in the future. I agree with all that stuff. But that
there's-
guy was a moron.
There's actually kits that you can get when ecstasy was really hot. Look at the way they eliminated ecstasy. All you get is Molly now. Like, ecstasy was an epidemic. They got rid of it. It's
Not
kind
all
of
the way.
around.
Yeah.
It's hard pressed to find ecstasy now.
There's a couple guys that love to do.
You know
X.
a plug?
I never did X in my life, but I know like promoters downtown that
Yo, they used to flood those downtown
Yeah.
clubs, man.
they still like doing that shit, which is corny.
They're all gone. I think the bad
That Molly that Rick Ross line, they used to love that shit. She didn't even know it.
she didn't even know it.
Yeah, man, it's fucking sad.
This is sad.
A man is behind bars after police say he attacked a mattress with a bedpost. Felipe Oquendo's girlfriend told officers that he was acting erratically this morning. She says Oquendo thought she was cheating on him with the man he thought he saw in the mattress. Well, the 37-year-old then reportedly hit that mattress with a bedpost, ripped it apart, and locked the bedroom door. His girlfriend managed to escape and call police.
So
what happened that was illegal? I
He
guess
was smoking meth.
Okay, yeah.
And that's what caused him to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all more the reason I'm telling you. Like, it's fucking meth is bad for you.
It is, but if it was regulated, maybe you would get the dose. It's
Still
like
be
smoking
bad for
Gorilla.
you. Like,
It's
that's
like
why I say you
Gorilla
might
Glue.
be right, because I can't imagine a world where there's like meth that doesn't make you fucking attack mattresses with bedposts.
Have you ever smoked wax?
No. Oh yeah, once. You talking about like
marijuana wax?
The
out of the
dabs or whatever.
Yeah.
I did that once, but then the dog fucking barked at me, like deliberately barked at me, so I didn't do that shit again.
Do you know how
Dog.
that made you feel?
Bro, when I hit that shit, I went in the living room, I sat down, and I
You were high as
I was
fuck,
like
right?
looking between my feet, and the dog came over, turned its head up, and went woof, like lips, almost, was like woof, and I was like, nope,
All right.
nope. So never again.
Okay, but it was intense, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
man.
it was super intense. That is what deregulated meth feels like. When you don't, because that's super concentrated weed. So it's the same derivative.
Wait. You're saying that
That's what meth is.
That
the feeling.
It's the same feeling?
Well, yeah, because
Wait, are you saying I did meth?
No, you didn't do meth.
Oh.
I'm just
What are you saying?
No, just like that is concentrated weed. So when you hit that, you go to the level of weed that you're not supposed to go.
So it's not the same feeling.
Similar, because when you take a Sudafed, you see how a Sudafed makes you feel
Like drowsy.
and it may, or sometimes if you take a Dayquil, it picks you up.
I don't know about that.
You never take when you're sick. You never taken like a antihistamine.
I don't take medicine anymore.
Okay, but when you did, it'll give you a up feeling.
Okay.
Imagine that concentrated and you hitting a dab of that shit. That is meth. So because it's not regulated and they're out here giving out all these concentrated dabs, like the dudes that do dabs every day are fucking crackheads, bro.
Okay.
They can't even smoke flower anymore because
So
they're
like Action Bronson's a crackhead?
mostly because he's so used to the dab and the concert. You know, it's like, what's the point of smoking flower anymore?
But like, to your point, at that level, they've got like dudes, chemists. Wiz Khalifa has like a chemist over there doing it the cleanest possible, best possible
But
way.
dabs have always been around. Dab used to be black and full of butane,
Right,
Until
but now they're like
joined the chemical, and
something
now it's
better.
synthesized, and
Yeah.
it's better for you, but it's still going to fuck you up.
Right.
Better because there's not so much contaminant in it.
But meth, right? Right. See, again, moving the needle a little bit. I guess if you fucking like hooked it up and turned it into something fine.
I still don't want to do it, but I think it's just safer because I'm not the upper type of person. I like, even my weeds, I like indicas, just like chill, relax. I'm not trying to be like, you know what I mean?
Well, you're never going to be like that on weed.
Yeah, if you smoke a really good sativa, I've smoked some sativas that I feel like I did like a hit of cocaine.
Yeah.
In Colorado, some straight sativa, yeah. But again, like even in Florida, we get so much street weed, it's hard to tell really what it is. But when you go to a fucking dispensary,
yeah, when they got it all laid out and shit,
and they like,
I've never been to one.
This is gonna make you feel like this. That's what it makes you feel like.
I took a road trip one time to there's like just a regular like McDonald's type setup in is it in Vegas? I don't know.
Yeah,
is it in Vegas where you can just walk in and it's like fucking like.
Yeah, you can get it in Vegas too.
You don't need a card, none of that shit. You just walk in.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's recreational.
Recreational, yeah.
Yeah, the last time I went with Danny.
I don't want to go to Vegas because I'm gonna spend money, but I'd love to like that experience just for it to be like regular. That's some like old shit to say because this is a new age we're living in. But
it's coming, man. I hope in a couple of years that.
So the meth thing, though, bro, it does. You do things. It sets you off in weird ways. You attack mattresses. Why would I want somebody? You're saying that if we got some scientists together to chemically produce meth in a way that doesn't freak you out,
or that at least you know the. I'm sure any amount of anything is going to freak you out. You just got to be taking the right dosage. You know, people are prescribing that shit at home by themselves and they're not doing the right dosage, you know what I mean? So it's just deregulated and you're going to come up with a clusterfuck of shit, you know what I mean? Even heroin, you know, it's better to take, you know, talk to somebody that like pops pills all day and say, yo, you know that you're shooting heroin? No, I don't shoot heroin, I pop pills. Why? Because it's regulated by some white dude in a lab coat instead of some street pharmacist at home mixing that shit with
pills
fentanyl.
Are really bad.
And they're bad because people. They come with a stigma.
Well, because you get addicted to it easily.
Right. It's the person, man. It's really the person.
Yeah, it's the personality and all of that, but it still happens like at a fucking alarming rate. Killing people, killing themselves.
I have a hard time with that. Like, is it a epidemic because the media says an epidemic, or is it just?
I think the numbers, right? Numbers of people dying is what says it's an epidemic. No.
Yeah, but when you go and you look at those studies, those studies are backed by certain interest groups and stuff like that. You know, maybe 7 out of 10 times. Maybe there could be like 20% of like real hard, you know, digging in and real scientist fact. But a lot of times it's right down the middle. It's either pharmaceuticals companies paying for these studies to say that no, it's not affecting nobody, and then you have a whole bunch of like, you know, the opioid epidemic people and foundations that go against it. You know what I mean? And they have their studies, so it's like, what do we really know? You know, and if you're poor,
Are you saying that people aren't? There isn't some sort of crazy epidemic where people are savagely addicted to opioids, especially in Florida? You're saying that's not a real thing?
I think it is a real thing, but I think it's dramatized.
Well, everything is though.
Right, but
getting up in the morning is dramatized.
It's not as bad as there are some people that are abusing it, but there's some people that really get benefits from it.
From like everything else in the world, bro. Like literally everything else in the world.
There's some people that have
microdosing is like a culture and a thing of people that just take a little mushroom in the morning, took a tiny little bit just to take the edge off and go about their day. And they can do that, you know? But that doesn't mean that there isn't some crazy like problem in the world where a lot of typically lower income people are fucking just killing themselves getting this shit, and it's becoming even increasingly easy to do.
I think
they had to stop. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
They had to stop convenience stores from selling spice and all of that shit.
Yeah.
Like the fucking made up marijuana or whatever.
Is it the drugs, or is it just the environment that's producing these mentalities?
It's definitely an environment. That's where it starts, right? That's where, well, parents and environment, whatever. But having these things readily available doesn't make it any easier.
I just like in rich communities or in well-to-do communities, there's still drug addiction, but it's better managed, and it's not such an epidemic. And that's what I mean. It's just that because of the lack of resources,
I think that's perspective, though. I think that's just how they're framing it. Just like how I can frame anything. Just how the people can skew the numbers and the statistics and the studies to go toward whatever they want. You can say that a rich person can skew my son's going through hard times, or he can say my son's addicted to pills, like the Vander Trumps or whatever those people name it.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. And so we shouldn't blame the drug. We should just blame the society or the culture.
No, why does it have to be mutually exclusive? How come I can't just blame both? How come they both don't have some responsibility? It has responsibility.
But if you put that substance in any other mentality or any other culture, and they would just use it as a recreation. You know what I mean? But because there is some type of stigma, there's a mental deficiency, there's a disorder there attached to substance abuse, that's what makes it bad. But the overarching thing that's bad is the mentality and culture. You're just adding the drug in, but either way, you can add anything into that, and it's going to be fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it isn't a bad idea to take that part of it out too, because again, it's not helping.
But I think if we create solutions behind the culture and the mentality, we're not gonna have to worry about it. It'll cancel the drug shit. Will cancel itself out.
I think we should do both and see which one works first.
How could you do both though?
What do you mean?
Because you either gotta let's take the drugs away and see if people are still acting crazy, right? Or let's leave the drugs and try to fix the people that are acting crazy so that they do less drugs.
Nah, you can fix the people and take the drugs away. You can still fix it. Why do they still need to be doing drugs to be fixed?
They don't have to be doing drugs.
No,
but
they
just
don't.
If we're doing them responsibly and recreational, or maybe, for some level of pain or whatever, or just some level of fucking
right.
being bored,
but we're talking about meth.
Bored.
We're talking about meth right now, right?
I mean, all drugs to me are
not weed.
They're an escape for either pain or boredom, or it's either recreation or medicinal.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're used for. We've been using these things since the beginning of time, and I think.
But some of them have health benefits. You're saying escape from not being healthy.
Well, usually the benefits come from healthy societies because they see the healthy benefits to it. If it wasn't for all these green hippie vegan, pushing culture forward, I don't think marijuana culture would exist. It's because they were pushing culture forward with these progressive ideas. Marijuana happened to be included in it, so we see the value in it. You know what I mean?
Because it has health benefits. Certain aspects of it have health benefits.
I will argue that any supplement has health benefits if you use it the right way. You can use meth the right way, healthy, and it'll have a positive effect on your life.
I don't see how that's possible.
Yeah, we use steroids.
Those are bad for you.
No, but they're actually good for you. No, I'll show you this. I'll show you this guy that he was on the Rogan podcast, and how if they for long distance marathon runners, if they don't take steroids, they can actually add more damage to their body because they're doing so much long term running and stuff that these supplements are actually helping them cope with fractures and other, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It actually benefits them.
Yeah.
Even they were getting on top of Armstrong about shooting up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of long distance bicyclists that's part of their culture.
Mm-hmm.
Not to fucking go, but just a little bit to help me.
So before I address that, how is meth beneficial in that way? How would meth be beneficial in that way?
Well, not meth specifically, but methamphetamines.
That's what we're talking about. Though, is meth is what we're talking about.
If it was a good scientific synthetic that somebody came up with, it gives you that edge, little extra edge
of
competing.
But it's bad for you.
Not done with the right, overdoing it, yes, but just put in at the right point, it's actually going to prevent fractures and certain things because the steroid or the stimulant.
Fractures, like in what way?
I don't know how scientifically exactly it works, but they noticed that when you give stimulants to certain endurance athlete, the stimulant actually helps the body react to long-term damage.
Right.
So they can go farther without breaking something, without, because if the runners that didn't take that supplement, they end up breaking down and then they have like all these fractures in his foot and all this other stuff.
Right.
And
but with meth,
because of this chemical added to the whole thing, it actually benefited the subject.
Yeah, but with meth, like it's going against just you needing to have your rest and having your. So how is extending that period when you're doing something unnaturally?
I think it just does something to your mentality where basically you don't feel mentally tired, so your body reacts to that. So maybe it's acting as a placebo in some respect, but regardless, it's having a positive effect.
I don't think so. I mean, it's eating people's faces when you do too much of it.
Because they're doing too much of it.
No, I hear you. And that's why I said that,
Yeah.
because I understand, like, I'm understanding that the argument kind of exists that if I get like a clean version of meth, I just don't see, again, I haven't addressed the steroid thing yet. I just don't see how that would benefit.
Because you're blaming the abuse on the drug. You're not blaming the abuse on the person.
Because it is the drug, and I am blaming it on the person too. Again, I'm not saying they're mutually exclusive like you are. I'm saying that it's all of it has a part to do with the situation, the drug, the environment, the upbringing, all of that. But the drug's included in that. It's included.
I think it's only included as a substitute for something.
No, it's included because it's included. It's not a substitute. It's part of the problem.
If they didn't have the problem, they wouldn't abuse it.
Possibly. I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree with that, but I'm not saying that you shouldn't be doing drugs too just because this problem exists.
No. That's not it. That's not at all what I'm saying. You shouldn't continue to do the drugs. I'm just saying that when
that's what you just said, though. That's what you said earlier.
I know it seems like that's what I'm saying,
Okay.
but when we choose to look at the abuser with a mental condition versus an abusive,
Right. I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying.
Again,
that's
I'm
all
not,
I'm arguing.
I'm not versus. I'm
That's
not saying versus. This is all like the drugs are included with the rest of the shit. Now with the steroid thing, when's the last time you did a marathon? When's the last time you run 26,000 miles? Steroids are bad for you.
No.
It can be useful for if you run fucking
I'll
from
give you an
here
example.
to 1,000 different ways, or if you have cancer and you did and you have
I'm
like
about to alley-oop this one.
Go.
Ashley has a ruptured eardrum, and they gave her a steroid to help break.
Different kind of steroid.
It's
a different kind of. We're talking about what I'm talking about is anabolic steroids from like the nuts of a horse. You know what I mean? That's what that when you say steroids, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, then we're talking about two.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about stimulants having a positive effect on people when used the right way.
Okay.
If you have a mental condition, like you came up from the wrong family,
Caffeine, I guess, is technically a stimulant, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If you come up with and you have a mental deficiency because of the environment you were raised in, I don't care what it is, caffeine, whatever, you're gonna abuse that shit because there's no wherewithal, there's no discipline, there's no understanding, education. You grow, if your parents are drug addicts, you're drug addicts. Everybody in the block, there's no structure there. So yeah, of course, you add drugs to that area, it's gonna be a detriment. But if that area was stimulated right with the right resources and stuff, they wouldn't be abusing
That's a whole other
drugs.
topic, though. You know
but
what I mean?
I think that's the approach to this whole drug thing. Instead of attacking the drug dealers and the drug abuse,
And I think you should do both at the same time. I think you should do all of that. I think you should hit all sides of that because that's still a problem.
Yeah, but no game has ever been won by going at all sides. When you play a game, you have a plan that exposes certain vulnerabilities, and you try to fix those things first in order to be successful. Because if you come at it all, like when has that ever worked? Even when you cure something.
Invasion of America by the Europeans.
That didn't work. We won.
Who won? You won? I'm winning?
America won against Europeans.
Invasion of, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the people that came over from Europe, the Americans now.
Right.
That they won. They just came over and took over shit. I'm not talking about when England came over. Nah. I'm talking about like Just give me that shit. Oh, that's mine.
But that didn't happen at one front all at the same time. It took a long time.
It just logistically, it took a long time, but it didn't take a long time. Like a long time. No, it didn't.
I guess I see what you're saying, but
and it's all encompassing, all powerful, bro. There's no reason not to. You know what I mean? It's not like a bad thing to stop attacking drug dealers, meth dealers, and stop people from driving around in mobile fucking bombs and sitting around in my fucking
shaking bacon.
My neighbor sitting in his garage cooking up where my kids play. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I agree with what you're saying.
No, that is wrong. Yes, all that stuff is
I agree.
wrong.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that should happen. Like, all of that should happen. Like, you should get, if you're high, popping and locking and outside the barbecue spot, you need to go sit your ass down somewhere for a while and whatever. And at the same time, we should be going to schools and pushing this and giving money to this and like uplifting the community, education, blah, blah, blah. All of that shit should be happening too. It's just, obviously it's not.
Yeah.
Because fucking Florida. And we get our budget cut for education every goddamn. Except now we got DeSantis, which I didn't vote for DeSantis, but it seems like the motherfuckers trying to get shit done, bro.
I will say I will agree with you, bro. I thought I was kind of playing the hater card when he came around. I was like, another Republican,
right?
And the whole wall thing.
But my man comes in, he shows up in the same suit every press conference. Sometimes the jacket's off, sometimes the jacket's on. Same tie. What he said he did what the voters asked for. He's like, bro, that's what I'm just out here trying to do this. And I don't know, like, I'm not all of his shit, obviously, I agree with, but he's trying to get he's trying to get shit done. He's like, boom, I'm at a meeting, I'm at here, and then boom, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So props to him for that.
Compared to the shit that we just had to deal with.
How long was it? 8 years?
Oh my god,
that was 8 years, right?
It was like the Holy Sith was taking over.
How long was
Florida.
that? Was it 8 years?
It was wild.
Holy fuck!
It was like the Dark Ages in
Florida. That dude was terrible. Never took one good picture.
He looked like the Sith.
Weird ass motherfucker.
Well, I guess the moral of the story is. Oh, wait a minute. Let's play this real quick because. Have you guys ever heard about the Villages?
Oh, right.
So Thompson sent me this good old boy. The Villages is a community near Orlando that a whole bunch of old people live in. Yeah. And basically it's rampant with the herp, a lot of venereal disease, and I guess they're also selling
old people
meth.
Going raw.
I think we should let old people smoke meth, though. They're old. Let them fucking smoke meth.
There is a place at a certain age, 65 and over, I think you should generally be allowed to do.
And if you have your own village,
pretty much whatever you feel like doing.
Yeah, and you got your own village with golf carts.
If you're like over there somewhere, I don't know. Maybe that's hypocritical, but.
So this is the Village 2017, courtesy of your boy Tall Bear.
Well, a little bit after 6 o'clock this morning, we executed a search warrant here at 1902 Antonio Place.
Damn, they gave the address.
In the Villages, the area of Tierra del Sol. It's a narcotic search warrant. We have buys out of this house from 3 different individuals. It's been a problem location for the neighborhood up here for some time. Search warrant was executed by the SWAT team. There's drugs and paraphernalia in plain sight. So some evidence that maybe some golf cart thefts may be involved here with this location, or the chopping of the golf carts.
They had the golf club chop.
Yo, they're all over 55.
Yeah, they're having orgies and shit.
Yo, let these people get the herp and smoke the meth in peace.
Nah, and they're not. That's not what they're doing. They're not smoking their.
They're serving meth and chopping.
There's probably 10 other people or 10 other houses in that community that are fucking. They're not the only people getting high or whatever, right? Yeah. But what they're doing is stealing fucking.
At a chop shop
and having a chop shop for golf.
Chop shop.
What kind of shit is that? You selling? Where do you get off pieces of golf carts?
Yo, have you seen the golf carts though? Have you seen these golf carts, my friend?
Yeah, I've seen it's becoming a thing for sure. And you know what else?
Like to being allowed on city streets in Los Angeles
flying around.
We turn now to a growing trend in transportation for seniors, low-speed electric vehicles. Well, I'd like to say these are not your grandfather's golf carts. As David Begno reports, the fact is, they are.
You own two? Own two golf carts. One for you, one for your wife? No, one for me to go golfing in and one for me to take her out to dinner.
Take her out. She don't drive my golf cart.
After retiring to the Villages in Florida, Gary Search didn't have to search very far for the right ride. They're all over. This community caters to folks like Search, 55 and older. It is crawling with low-speed electric vehicles. Here, there are more carts than cars.
For people who've never been here, this is quite the sight. With over 60,000 golf carts in the Villages, it's a major form of transportation.
His tricked-out
How many
candy
people
apple
are
red
there?
California Roadster looks
Hundreds
more
of
like a
thousands.
hot rod and has safety features, too.
And this is legal on the road? It's legal because it has a license plate on it.
Are they strict about patrolling the streets of golf carts around here?
Well, they are for safety reasons, because when you're driving a typical golf cart at those speeds with the brake system, it's not safe for them. This cart has disc brakes on all four tires.
According to the Sumter County Sheriff's
this
Office,
street
over the past
legal
8
golf
years,
carts, not just
16
golf
people
cart
in the
golf
Villages
carts.
riding in golf
shit.
carts have been killed in
Oh,
road accidents.
shit. 3 years?
Almost all of them were not wearing seatbelts and were ejected.
We used to have 2 cars and 2 carts. Now we only have the 1 car and 2 carts. And we have 2 street legals.
What?
Retired New Yorker Tim Carroll bought his first street legal 6 years ago. In terms of insurance, this falls under your home insurance.
No, you have to register just like a car and you have to get insurance.
Car insurance and seatbelts are required. The maximum speed limit is 25 miles per hour.
So I mean, 60,000 carts. You might want to charge.
I'm down for the golf cart life, bro.
You want to start a chop shop?
I'm down for no, not at all. I'm down for the golf cart life though.
I'm saying though, like when you're 55, would you move into the Village, considering the herb epidemic and the fact that you might get your golf cart
I'm moving
stolen?
away from communities when I get old.
Land, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna be out on some shit with some shit,
Yeah.
just out there
with animals. Fuck people.
Yeah, there'll be some animals there probably because of Shauna. Generally, if Shauna wasn't there, I'd probably like have a dog and maybe a fish or some shit. But like
a fish,
maybe
like you in a pond or in like a big ass aquarium.
Yeah,
aquarium fish.
Both, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something.
You want to get like a companion for the fish.
That's what the dog's for, right?
The dog is gonna hang out with the fish.
Yeah,
they're just like they got to
It's
understand.
gonna be me. I mean, if it was just us, it would be me, the dog, and the fish.
And the fish.
You know, and whoever else visited.
I mean, you'll be protected from the hurt.
It's true. Well, I go into town,
Yeah.
This is me as a single person.
Yeah.
I go into town, check out the bar scene, just
Yeah.
because I'm alcoholic.
It's got to be a crazy, like, I mean, you can't blame, like, fucking 55-year-olds and over to just say, fuck it.
Mhm.
My kids are grown. I can live in this nice neighborhood.
Hey, I'm down for this, man. I was in Sarasota, and there was a bike club, but all the bikes were those like Spider-Man looking bikes with the 3 wheels. You know what I'm talking about? Or Stingray looking things.
Yeah.
It was the whole bike club. So it was like, because Sarasota is like 40 and over club or whatever, generally, is what I saw when I was over there. So they had like a 40 and over bike club using like those.
It's crazy when I go out to Daytona during Bike Week, all those people out there.
I wonder how many of those people are on meth.
A lot. That's one thing. Like, you can just do meth into your old age.
You can do anything, right? Like we're saying,
Yeah.
responsibly, and you can just be okay.
Yeah, microdose meth.
Microdosing's big, man. I did for a while. I took shrooms for a while, like just a little bit at a time, and it was pretty awesome. It was,
But it's what, like just a little buzz all day, no hallucinating? Or?
No, definitely no hallucinating. I only hallucinated once. It just made me deal with people better, you know.
Why'd you stop?
I don't know. Just don't want to be high all the time, I guess.
Yeah.
Generally. Sometimes you gotta be sober.
I think I'm going to start microdosing marijuana now that I got my marijuana card. I see some tinctures. I'll start just like drip dropping some marijuana droplets every day.
How you gonna microdose if you smoke weed all day?
That's true. I'll microdose the tincture, but I'll still smoke.
So it's not microdose.
I mean, but you're still ingesting it differently.
It's the same shit though.
Yeah, I guess. It makes sense, but it doesn't at the same time.
It doesn't at all, yo. Come on, man.
Well, if you know somebody that's on meth, help them out unless they're doing it responsibly and they got their shit together. Then what's the point of fucking their day up? Yeah, I'm Phraydoe Peans.
Okay, I'm the only one in this room professional enough that I know of to carry this rock for you. I'm the only one.
Make sure you go to Florida. What is it? Fresh.
Y'all okay? Yo, don't do meth. Meth shouldn't be legal. This guy's crazy. Fuck all of that. He kind of maybe a little bit changed my mind a little bit.
On occasion it does.
God.
I mean, you have to be
But
more
don't
aware
do it.
when you're on the road.
Don't let him
because
sway you with
obviously
his
with a smaller
Jedi
vehicle,
talk.
Cars think that
No meth.
All right. Peace and love. Email us, subscribe,
Yo,
like.
I love all the engagement we've been having lately. Everybody's being super positive and super inquisitive, and keep it going. And your face is ugly.
Peace.